What I'm saying is that the underlying, what they're saying is 1741 is not going away, and all the conditions of 1741 still apply to this. My point is that it's not doing the job, and this isn't going to change that. We have a property at 516 Center Street, which has two apartments operating. It's a multi-family home. The city licensed that in 2018. We advised them at meetings one-on-one that that was not a single-family dwelling. They acknowledged it, but it continues to operate, and I assume, they won't tell me, but I assume they continue to license it again in 2019, so it's not working. There's a 424 New Street up the street. There's a separate entrance. There's a door that's locked. When the guest goes in there, they aren't sharing any space. That's an apartment that's being rented out. They're calling it a single-family home, but it's really a two-family home. They're allowing hotel guests. They're allowing people that want to turn their house into apartments and not have them in their space to compete with hotels in downtown. And that's the problem with Airbnb across the country. It started out as home sharing, and this ordinance was supposed to be about home sharing. This doesn't solve that problem. The ordinance that's in place has been an utter failure, and nothing has happened, and this isn't going to help it. This isn't going to help it. It doesn't address any of the issues that exist, where today what's happening is people are, businesses are buying homes, right? And all across the country, 40% of Airbnb's business is coming from apartment-type rentals, homes, that they don't own, they don't live there, and this ordinance is an adjunct, doesn't do anything to fix that. And I don't hear anything that's going to fix it, so it's flawed. And quite frankly, the bed and breakfast ordinance should really be in front of you to change that to require the bed and breakfast to be an owner-occupied facility as well, because the bed and breakfast opens the door for all of these purchases of homes, and then to put somebody in the house as a proprietor and let them live for free or just sit in the house and meet the bed and breakfast code. So the whole concept should be about the only time you should allow transient visitors in a residential community should be if they're sharing the space. That's my point. And nothing about this does that. And a continuation of what we have is allowing illegal hotels to operate in our residential districts, and allowing people to be in the outbuilding is, Mr. Malozzi, you're right on track. Again, that just allows somebody, again, to be a transient, to be not in somebody's space. It's even worse. It's one thing to have it attached, like half the building is the homeowner and the other half is his apartment, and the city calling that a one-family home, a single-family home, because it has a door in between it that you can open, but also lock when the guest is there. So they may never see the guest. The guest never goes into their space. So this entire ordinance, I asked the city to meet with us, with me. Specifically, I consider myself to be essentially an expert on transient visitors and transient guests, and they refused to meet with me in the development of this ordinance, and I just am here to say I'm disappointed with what's being proposed, and I don't see how it's going to change anything that hasn't worked for 2 years.
Thank you, Mr. Haines. We appreciate your comments, and I know I've spoken to you prior to the meeting, and obviously you are very passionate about this in particular, but I also feel you're very passionate about a lot of things that go on in this city, so I allowed you a little bit of extra time. So any extra, or I'm